This week on the Grand Theory Podcast.
Yeah, but listen, if you can afford to lose that kind of money, do it. But think about that: 42-1, and he bet 10,000. He made a killing. You know, you ever happy? You got this kid knocked you out, broke your jaw. You're happy. What you happy about? You know. So I see.
So it makes you a better fighter as well.
So would you recommend that boxers try and coach as well?
No, because a lot of these boxers don't know shit. Their coaches don't know shit. So no, I can train someone because, bro, I know more than most of these coaches know. Like these actual coaches, you know, because my coach actually taught me the game. So I can train somebody. But I wouldn't recommend some other boxers training people because they don't know anything about the sport. Like, there's a lot of people that don't know anything. You know what I'm saying?
Well, listen. Can I say this real quick? See, he just hit it right in the nail on the head. Unfortunately, today's so-called trainers, they're not teachers of boxing. They all want to do mitt work with you, and Floyd Mayweather, him and his uncle, God rest his soul, they had that little mitt thing, that routine they did. That was great for them. But behind closed doors, Roger Mayweather, he taught him and Floyd, they worked. They worked real hard. But today, these guys, they get mitts and they think they're great because they got a little routine they do with you, and that's supposed to be something great. But they're not teaching you how to really box because they don't know how to. Most trainers today, they're not teachers of boxing because they never fought. So if you never fought, you can't teach me what it's like to get in the mouth and come back and retaliate and either bob and weave or slip or duck or parry a shot because you never been on that road. So say it's round 6 and I'm cut of both eyes and my nose is broken. What are you gonna tell me to do? So if you never experienced any of that in your lifetime, how are you gonna tell me how to recuperate from all that and beat the guy up? You can't. And so, like you said, that's the beautiful thing you said. Most guys today aren't taught. They never fought in their lives, but they want to teach you how to be a fighter. They're gonna get you killed because they don't know what it's like to get punched in the mouth or get punched in the stomach. Now you gotta come back and withstand all that and be able to come back and hurt your opponent. Most guys don't know what that's like. But they want to teach you how to fight. Man, put the gloves on and show me how you fight.
Right. Okay. And that's okay. So actually, a question about getting into the ring, both you and Paige. I think Paige. I was listening to Paige's podcast, and he on the podcast, and he mentioned it. He said, when you get into the ring, into the fight, right? You don't want to be tense. You want to be relaxed. But how do you like relax, but still be ready to go at the same time?
I mean, everybody's different, you know what I mean? For me, like, bro, I like to fight, you know what I mean? Like, I enjoy boxing. This is, like, it's fun to me. So when I'm getting in there, it's fun, you know? So I'm not really, because I like to do it. Like, I want to be in there. I want to punch. I want to see how good you are. I want to see how far you can push me. So it's fun. Like, if you look at it that way, you won't really get nervous, but, like, a lot of guys, like, their first fight, they're nervous because they're thinking too much, you know what I'm saying? They're overthinking. They're like, what if I win? What if this? Like, like, bro, you joined boxing because it was fun, you know what I mean? Like, I just go in there and have fun. Like, I like to fight, so it's just fun to me. That's how I deal with it, you know? I don't know how these other people deal with it.
Okay. And
you have to you have to be able to when you're a fighter. If you don't have an experience, then you're lost because you have to be able to know when you get in the ring, what boxing is all about. And if you don't know what it's all about, then you're afraid because you don't know if you're gonna get hit, how it's gonna feel. And I had a fighter named Brian Jennings, heavyweight. He fought for the world's title, but Brian's biggest problem was he started fighting when he was 24 years old. So he never fought as an amateur. He never knew what that was like. So he never had that experience before. So he'd always question himself when he would fight. And I tell him, I said, you're a hell of a fighter. You're a good puncher, but your biggest problem is you're always second guessing yourself because you never knew what it was to be a fighter from the time you're a little kid. So I tell most guys, if you can start boxing when you're young, that's the best thing you can do because by the time you become 18 or 19, you turn pro 20 years old, you understand the game of boxing and you're not afraid. And you're not second guessing yourself on what you should do. Most guys, they're asking themselves, can I do it? And what happens, if this happens or that? No, I'm going to bump that. When that bell rings, go there and whoop somebody's butt.
And so what if I wanted to start boxing right now? It's too late for me, huh?
No.
How old are you?
I'm 27.
Oh yeah. It's
too late?
It's too late. Yeah. It's too late. You could do some TikTok box, some celebrity box.
Nah, yeah, I want to box. Well,
That's where the money's at. Believe it or not.
yeah, TikTok box.
Not boxing.
Not boxing?
Too late. Maybe like oldest the oldest world champ to start was I think like 23, 24. But he said he had a fighter that was 24 that fought for the world title. That's pretty good. That's good. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Coach.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, no, go ahead, Coach.
No.
I said we can make history, man. Oh, we can make history. Why not?
Are you willing to get hit?
Are you willing to get hit?
Am I willing to get hit?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm willing to hit.
Not saying you have to get hit, but you know, the chances are sometime during that fight you can get punched. So are you willing to get hit?
Yeah, I mean, I play football. I'm willing to get hit. Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Why not? I guess
That's at the battle. Believe it or not, that's at the battle right there.
Why not?
If you can accept the fact that you don't get hit, then you're good.
But you're too old. I'm gonna just be honest. You're too old.
Paige is putting limits on me right now. Paige is putting limits on me.
I'm being realistic. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be real. I ain't gonna sell you dreams and be like, yo, you could be world champ. Maybe you feel like 21. I tell you some dreams. You know?
Call out Jake Paul and get paid.
Hey, okay. Actually, speaking about Jake Paul, what do you guys think about that?
I mean, it's good for boxing. It's bad for boxing. You know.
Why?
It's bad. Yeah, listen, it's bad for boxing, but I give him credit if he's smart. He's getting paid. You know, if you can do this, I mean, he's not a real fighter, but I can't knock him for getting paid millions of dollars. And he's not robbing a bank. He's robbing people. But he's not a bank robber. He's not selling drugs, selling dope.
So he didn't knock out Tyron Woodley? Or Tyron Woodley faked that?
I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. Jake Paul's weird, man. I don't know about this boxing thing for Jake Paul. But, yo, he's given a different look now. Like, now he wants to help the fighters. So, you know, maybe he can impact the sport in a better way because he kind of messed it up. So
he got to fix it now.
He needs to fix it, you know?
He needs to fix it.
He brought more eyes to it.
100%.
More people want to box now, you know what I'm saying? But, like, as far as the TikTok thing goes, it's taking eyes off of real boxers. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
You need to get.
It's hurting the game. It's hurting the game of boxing a little bit.
And like now, bro, honestly, this whole, like Mayweather, like yo, the money in boxing, I get it, but now everybody's just about the fucking money. Like it's too much. Like everybody, money. Okay, like yo, let's just fight. Let's get the best fighters fighting. Yes, the money, but it's too much money. Like. Bro, but I can't, like, I joined boxing to be the best. I want to fight the best, you know? To fight the best, now money's involved, and if someone doesn't get this, I can't fight the best. Like, it's getting ridiculous now, man. It's too much, bro.
No,
it's too much.
I like that because that's something that you said there. You said that, even in that podcast, you said that when you become world champion, you want to then fight all the best fighters. You want to know that you competed against the best and see where you stand against those guys. Yeah. Right? You had that mentality from the beginning.
From the beginning, I wanted to fight the best. You know, I want to see how good I can, you know, become. Like, I want to fight the best. You know, challenge myself. You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
I'm not gonna say I'm always gonna win, but I want to be out here fighting the best. You know?
Yeah, you want to know that you competed against the best, not against some.
Like, I'm not here for the money, you know what I'm saying? That's not why I joined boxing. That's why it's annoying to me when everyone's just all about the money, you know? And Mayweather kind of made it about the money, and then everyone just kind of took it to the extreme, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Mayweather kind of took it to the extreme, you know what I'm saying? But, like, a lot of these fighters need to chill with this money because they ain't making fights happen, you know what I'm saying? So, hopefully, when I become world champ, I can change it, you know what I'm saying? I know most of these boxers just want money. So when I become world champ, I'm going to change that. You know, I'm fighting the best. Now I got the belt. I can demand what I want. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about the money. You know what I'm saying? My family might care about the money, but I don't care about the money, you know?
I love that. Actually, one thing I want to ask you, Paige, in particular is, how is it having your dad? Because that's something that I was actually telling your dad is like, I respect it so much that your dad is there with you in your corner pushing you. You know what I mean? Like that's a
Mess up
super
now.
dope bond to have with your dad
You messed
pushing
up
you
on
towards
that.
your dream. You know what I
I mean,
mean?
it's good to have a dad, period. You know, lots of
Yeah.
kids grow up without a dad. You know,
100%.
fortunately, lots of kids grow up with the dad, especially as a boy. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
You need a dad in your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So my dad installed a lot of things when I was young. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
so it's important. It's important to have a dad in your life. I didn't grow up with my mom, so it's just my dad. So he built me
yeah,
to like you gotta
yeah,
be a man. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
having him like in boxing too, it's just like he as a dad, like they understand, they had dreams too. They just want their kids to succeed. So like he takes a lot of stress off my shoulders. As most kids, they don't have parents, they don't have support. So my dad fully supports me. So all I have to worry about is one thing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? All I gotta worry about is boxing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't gotta worry about money, where I'm sleeping, nothing. That my dad's gonna take care of me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's gonna support me. He's gonna look out for my best interest. Like
100%.
it takes a lot of stress off of me when I just have to worry about one thing. You
Yeah.
know, my dad will look after everything. So,
Yeah.
alhamdulillah, you know what I mean?
Yo, shout out to Pops, man.
Shout out
Very
to
big
all
respect.
the dads in the
Fa-
world that
facts.
take care of their kids, man.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Facts.
important. A lot of these kids
Facts.
don't have dads, you know?
Facts.
So a lot of them just, they're raising themselves.
Selves.
You know what I mean? They don't
Yeah.
have a dad to tell them, yo, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, and listen. Like my dad, like growing up, always, like even my friends know about my dad, because my dad is, he's active. He's like, yo, page this, page that. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's always on my case. So like,
Yeah.
alhamdulillah, it made me strong. It made me grow up to be a good person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a good thing that my dad's there, because if
Yeah.
he wasn't, I would probably be a badass kid. Because I'm bad as it, you know what I'm saying? So if my dad wasn't there, I wouldn't be listening to nobody. Because all I listen to is my dad. So if it wasn't my dad, I wouldn't be listening to nobody. Do whatever I want. Nothing's going to stop me, you know?
Facts.
If my dad stops me,
Yeah.
I think about something. I'm going to do some dumb shit.
Yeah.
I think, my dad's gonna kill me if I get caught. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I can't go to this party because my dad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't care about the cops, no one, but my dad.
Dad.
You know what I'm
My
saying?
dad will fuck me up.
Everything I do is like, yo, my dad. You know?
He's around the corner. He's waiting. No, and I guess, Coach, was that similar for you too? Because you said that you went and you asked your dad to take you into boxing too. So did your dad play a similar role in terms of your boxing career as well, or?
In the beginning, my dad played a big career in that. I didn't know my dad boxed until I was about like 15 or 16. He never told me he boxed in the Navy, but it was nothing. He didn't really go far with it, but everything I did in life, my father was always a part of it. He always backed me in whatever I wanted to do. When I tried football, he was a part of that. When I tried basketball, whatever I did, he was there for me, and I love that because there's nothing he wouldn't do for me. And when boxing, he realized boxing was my thing. He was 110% behind me with that. And when I turned pro, actually he was the first person to call Georgie Benton. And he talked to Georgie before I did about me, coming to Philadelphia and turning pro with Georgie. And it was a wonderful thing because it made my road easier to have to go there because my dad paved the way for me.
Yeah.
And my dad's like Paige's father, man. He's a wonderful person, and it was the best thing. Going to live with my father was the best thing that ever happened for me as a kid because he was always there for me. Whatever went down, he was always there present to make sure that things went my way for me.
No, I like Paige said, man. Shout out to all the fathers out there, man. Shout out to Papa Ambrose, man, for real. No, so one thing I wanted to ask was, Paige, I was gonna ask you what I know that Coach answered, but what has been the biggest kind of obstacle that you had to encounter so far in your career, and how have you kind of dealt with it, and what have you learned from it?
Probably early in my amateur career, dealing with like robberies, boxing, corruption, you know what I'm saying? Like, just like, because in the beginning, you're blind to it. And then you start to understand boxing's corrupt, you know what I'm saying? There's going to be corrupt judges, you know what I'm saying? So not everything's going to go in your favor, you know what I'm saying? So dealing with that is probably the biggest struggle. Like, the first time I had to deal with that was probably like nationals. like a couple times I went to nationals, and I'm fighting to get onto the Canadian team, so it's pretty big, you know what I mean? And every time I go to the finals, you know, they give it to the other guy when, and all eyes, I should have won, you know what I'm saying? So I had to deal with like, bro, I can't even get on the Canadian team. How am I going to get to the Olympics, and how am I going to, you know what I'm saying? So I'm dealing with that, you know what I mean? So that was probably the biggest struggle I had to go through in my boxing, was just getting over that hump, you know what I mean? But
They're racist. They're racist in Canada. That's what you're saying too.
the racists all over,
Well, all over the world.
Whatever, that's, you know.
So then,
Racism is racism.
how did you counter that? Because like you can't, like when the judges is there and they're scoring, they're doing the scorecard. You
This
can't
is
really.
why I joined boxing, because yo, all you gotta do is knock them out. You know what I'm saying? That's why I joined boxing. Like, you know, you leave it in your hands. You know what I mean? Not the judge's hand. No one else. At the end of the day, if you knock everybody out, nothing can say anything to you. You're the champ. You're the man. Here's all the money. That's it. That's why I joined boxing, because you can put it in your own hands. I don't gotta depend on a teammate or this person. All I gotta do is knock him out. So if I know these judges are not gonna give it to me, I'm gonna go out there and knock him out. Now I understand. Yo, you gotta knock people out. You can't just go to the scorecard and hope these judges give you the score, because yo, if someone's paying these judges $1 million, you ain't gonna get the fight. You know what I'm saying? So my mentality from now is to always go in there and to stop the guy. Now, I ain't going to no scorecard.
No decision, no nothing.
I'm
It's
gonna
out.
stop him, or I'm gonna knock him out. Something's gonna happen. It's not gonna go a full 12 rounds. You know.
No, I like that. I like that
I'm
mentality.
telling you, it's none of my fights are going 12 rounds, man. Someone's out of there, bro. We're dying. You know what I'm saying? I tell them I'm not putting nothing in the judge's hands no more. Like, it's either he dies in there or I die. But yo, it's bombs are being lit. You know, fireworks are cracking in there, man. We are going to war, man, war. Someone's dying. Someone's getting down.
I think that's a mentality that you have to have. Like, I think mentality is absolutely key. Now on top of that, how do you, okay, you're going into the ring, you're thinking like that, right? How do you stop yourself from being overly confident and underestimating your opponent?
Well, that comes all with the experience. You already know, like, you know what I mean? Anything can happen in the ring. Anything can happen. So you just got to stay sharp. Like, you got to train your mind to stay sharp. Of course, you're coming confident, but you know, at the end of the day, all it takes is one punch to change it. So you always got to stay sharp. And listen to your coaches. Yo. That will help you win the fight. Yo.
Coach, what do you have to say to that one?
No, listen. You know, you're in the ring with somebody. You might be overconfident, but if the guy hits you with a good shot, he's gonna put you right back in place. You're gonna say, oh, "Okay, let me get myself together." It's not gonna be that easy.
Yeah.
You know, so some guys, you know, they go into a fight overconfident. When they get hit, it's like, "Oh my, okay, I see what's happening here," and it puts them back in perspective, and they realize, "Okay, let me get down and really concentrate on this fight." Because you know, overconfidence, man, it get you killed in fights sometimes. Because if you're overconfident, you might undertrain and not be fully prepared. So the best thing to do is stay humble, man, and just always be ready, because you never know who you're gonna fight, man. And one day you might fight a guy who's hungrier than you are to become world champion. So his life may have been a little harder than yours was growing up, and you know, a lot of guys are hungry. They want, you know, a lot of guys. You think about this, a lot of guys from overseas, these Eastern European countries, these guys are starving. So when they come to America, they're trying to kill you, man, because they're trying to get what you got, because they don't have that where they come from. So they're hungry, and they want to taste what you've been tasting most of your life. Because what people don't realize here in America, a lot of these kids, man, they're privileged. They're not starving. You know, some are, but a lot aren't. And those that aren't, man, they think they got it made. But when they fight somebody that's hungrier than they are, bro, they in trouble, because you gotta be hungry in this game to succeed, and you gotta have patience, and you gotta be humble, and you have to sacrifice. So you gotta be disciplined. A lot of guys, those that aren't, they get beat up.
Discipline is. I think discipline is key to everything that you do in life. I think if you're not disciplined, you won't make it anywhere. Like anywhere and anywhere.
Yes.
Like anything, even job, like anything, job, craft, anything. You have to have discipline, and it's not easy. It's not only discipline, but you have to stay consistent. Like when you can't just you can't train one day on Monday and then train on Friday. Like you're not gonna be able to compete like that. You gotta train
Nope.
every day. And so how do you train when it's hard? Like, because I know you're not always like you can't always be motivated to go to the gym and get up early and do 3, 4, 5 workouts. So what keeps you
I'm
going?
always motivated.
You're always motivated.
Well,
I'm
he's young.
always
He's young
motivated.
right now. He can be motivated.
I'm always motivated. Yeah,
he's
I'm
young.
not, until I become world champ,
Champ.
then I might lose that motivation.
a little bit.
But right now, I'm always motivated. I walk down the street, I see a car, I'm like, I need to become world champ. You know what I'm saying? I see some girl, I'm like, I need to become
I want
world
that.
champ. You
And the
know?
British accent, huh?
I had a fighter one time. He became world champion. His name was Nate Campbell. But here was Nate's biggest problem. All Nate ever wanted to do in his life was be world champion. That was his dream, just to be world champion, not to defend his title and make money. So when he became world champion, he realized his dream. So at that point, his very first fight, he lost his title on the scale. He didn't make the weight for his title fight. Because for him, just being champion was all he ever wanted to be called was champion. So when he won his belt, he realized his dream. So he didn't realize his dream is defending that belt. That's where the money's at. You win it, that's great, but you got to defend it to make the money. And he didn't realize that part of it because once he became champion, he had realized his dream. And that's all he ever wanted to be called was champion. So he lost his title on his first defense on the scales. He beat the opponent that night, but his belt was already taken because he didn't make the weight.
Did he become
wow.
world champ again?
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
So once he
One-time
realized his dream
wonder.
becoming
Done.
champion, that was all he wanted.
So
I'll take note of that right there.
yeah. So
The money's in winning the title, not in defending it, not winning it, but defending that belt.
That belt.
That's where you make your money at.
So, coach, what was your dream? Was your dream to be world champion or to defend your? What was your dream when you come to boxing?
Well, my dream was to win it and also defend it. I didn't want to just be like my fight. I didn't want to be the one-time guy. I wanted to defend it, and I wanted to be the best. Like I said, unfortunately for me, I didn't get to fight the guy. I didn't get to fight the best guys in my division that were champions like myself. But I never blamed the fighter. I always say it was the manager or the promoter. Fighters will fight. Man, listen, fighters a box for $2 and a biscuit. They don't care. They don't care. Fighters will fight. If listen, you go to Paige and say, Paige, fight this guy. Paige gonna fight him because he wants to prove he's the best. But it's the other guys that run the business that hurt the business because they don't allow the best fighters to fight. Think about this. There's 2 fighters today named Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence. It's not them that are keeping them from making that money. It's their promoters. They're haggling with each other on who should make the most money between them. The fighters don't care. The fighters, they're gonna make about maybe $4 or $5 million a piece. They want to fight, but the promoters are the ones that are haggling over, who's gonna promote the fight, where it's gonna be at, what date. That's the problem right now.
Okay, so one thing I wanted to ask you as well is how. What's Paige's training like? Like, what is Paige's training like? What's the process of Paige's training?
Well, right now he trains, before a fight, he trains with Dana back home. And then he gets down to Florida with me. Right now it's not super intense because right now he's still learning and we're teaching him and the opposition isn't dangerous for him right now. But as we start to go into the 6 and 8 round fights for him, then it gets to become a little more dangerous for him. And then training gets a little bit more harder for him. Not really difficult, not to the point where it's going to break him or make him not want to really fight, but just to make him a better fighter and like I said, watch his opponents more and learn, see what they're doing and capitalize off their mistakes for him. Because, Paige already knows how to fight. He doesn't need me for that. Once the bell rings, he's going to do his thing. My job is to make him, add things to his game, make him better, and then also, like I said, break down his opponent for him and make those fights easier for him. Because as far as boxing goes, he knows how to do that. Once the bell rings, he knows how to fight. My job now is just make him a better as a professional, make him a more seasoned fighter, and make his fights easier for him. But as far as boxing goes, I never take credit for. He knew how to fight the day he met me. So I give Dana and his father and him that respect that they deserve because he knows how to fight already, and they get that praise because those 3 put it together with each other, and he developed a hell of a fighter. Now my job is to make him a better fighter as a professional. And I look at him and I see what he's doing now and what he can be because unfortunately for me, the guys in his division, they're not as good as he is, and he doesn't realize how good he can be. And maybe he does realize it, but he can be the best and one of the best of all time in those lighter weight divisions because of his height and his power and his boxing ability. And I'm not saying that to blow smoke up his ass. I'm just telling you what I see from the day I met him. He's a hell of a fighter. And he has a chance to be one of the greatest fighters in those divisions of all time for himself.
It's all about the work you put in, you know what I'm saying? The hours, all that.
No, repeat that one again. Repeat that one again.
It's all about the work you put in the hours, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, talent will take you far, you know what I'm saying? But, like, yo, hard work will always be talent. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
That's why I work hard. Like, see, someone who wants to beat me, like, they had to be consistently training because I stay training, fam. I don't train and then, yo, take a break and then dad hits me up, yo, you have a fight. Time to start training again. Now, I've been training since I was 14 all the way to what? Now I'm 23. So you do the math. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21,
years
22,
of work.
23. 9 years straight just training. You're going to have to train 9 years straight 3 times a day to catch up to me. You know
And they're gonna have to stop you from training at the same time.
Someone's gonna have to. They're gonna have to come, done the same work as me, to like to compete with me. Like these world champs been training since they're young. That's why they can compete with me. But as soon as they take breaks and this and that, I'm gonna come and up it on you because while you're taking a break and you're living life and chilling with your kids, I'm in the gym still 3 times a day, sharpening up my skills like. Every day, you know what I'm saying? I don't take breaks. That's the thing. I'm just sharpening up my skills every day, getting better every day, putting more hours and more hours and more hours. You know what I'm saying? Cause
I love that.
hard work beats talent. So if you work super hard, how you gonna lose?
I love that. I love that because that's one thing that I believe in. I remember when I was going to went for football. When I went for football, I only played football for 2 years, right? And I got a scholarship. And it was just like, I was willing. It was the biggest thing that I realized is mentality is like, your mindset is like to me, mindset is everything. If you don't have the right mindset, you can't do nothing. So I had to have the right mindset. And what I focused on was all these guys, they've been training since they were like pee-wee, playing football. But I was like, you know what? Bro, these guys, I'm not as talented as these guys. When I went to the recruiting trip, they gave me the wrong name. They didn't even give me they didn't give me the right name. They gave me some other guy's name. And I was just like, it's not me. And they're like, yo, oh, my bad. They kind of fix it. But I was like, you know what? Okay. And when I came there, it was almost like, the only thing I a little bit regret is like, I was so focused that I didn't enjoy, I didn't care about my team. Like, not I didn't care, I didn't like, I didn't party, nothing. I was just, go home, study film, read the book, the playbook, go on the field, practice. Like that's all I cared about, right?
That's what you have to do, though.
That's what you have to do.
That's what you have to do.
Exactly. And like I remember, like I pushed myself. My whole thing was push myself almost till I remember one time I was running hills and I passed out on the hill. I puked, I passed out, woke up, ran again, right? Because it's like I have to push myself. There's guys out there that they've been training for however long. And I'm just catching up. I'm not as talented as them, maybe physically and stuff. So I have to outwork them. And it's a Mamba mentality, yo. Like Kobe says, it's like when him putting in the extra hours, just like you were saying. If a guy comes in and he only puts in 2 hours, if Kobe gets up at 5 o'clock and you get up at 7 o'clock, and Kobe already got up at 5 o'clock, put in a 2-hour workout, and you just got up at 7 o'clock, he already put in 2 hours before you just woke up and ate breakfast, brush your teeth, whatever.
That's why I wake up at 5 because of Kobe, man. Shout out Kobe.
Yo.
Shout out to Kobe.
Kobe,
every day,
man.
5 a.m. You know what I'm saying? Just it's a part of your life now. So you gotta put in that work. Those hours matter. You know, man. They catch up. You know what I mean? Especially when you got 2 talented fighters. Got same skill level. It's whoever put in the most work is gonna win because you get what you put in, man. You get what you put in. You know.
That's 100%. That's 100%.
So whatever you put in is what you get. You know.
Yeah.
And that's facts.
No, that's 100%. I definitely agree with that. And for one thing that I want to ask you is, Coach. So you've trained a number of championship fighters in your years, right? Are there some traits or are there some characteristics that really define a champion? Or is it just like, can anybody be a champion? Or is it, are you a born champion? How do you become a champion? Like, are there certain traits that stick out?
some people they're born, but they they don't realize that until they become older and they set forth and put forth all the effort that's inside them to make that reality become a dream. Um, being champion is not for everybody. You have to really want to be a good fighter because sometimes a lot of pain comes with that. You get hit and you get hurt, and not everybody can take that. So to be champion is a special person because listen, if being champion was easy, everybody would be champion. And it takes a special person to become world champion. And yes, he hats off those people because it's not for everybody. Everyone, they might have a dream of being champion, but you don't always reach that status because some things might keep you from it, personal things, outside influences. But if you're a true champion, nothing gets in your way of achieving your goals in life. When I was a kid, I wanted to be champion. From the time I loved boxing from the time I was 6 years old, but by the time I was about 15, I said I want to be a world champion in professional boxing. And that was always my goal. And when I turned pro, that became my job. And I heard Marvin Hagler once say, great middleweight champion, he said, boxing, you have to love it like a boy, but play it like a man. So that was always my credo. I always lived by that statement that he said. You have to love it like a boy, but play it like a man. And that's how I felt boxing was to me. I love that saying because, if you can love it like a kid, man, and just love boxing, but play it like an adult and really want it, it's the greatest feeling in the world to become world champion, man. Because it's a feeling that never leaves you, and that and for him, for my fighters, that's one thing I want them to experience what I experienced. To be a 2-time world champion. Nowadays, you can be a 5 or 6 time, but I don't care. Be that. Just experience it at least once in your life. It's a wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful feeling.
Yeah. What kind of emotions were kind of going through you when you did win the title finally? Was it like,
when they raised your hand?
Yeah, when they raised your hand.
Boom, world champ.
It was a wonderful feeling of all the years and all the time, all the stuff I went through in amateur boxing and the bad decisions and things. All that was erased when I won my first world title because now I live my dream. It's like Paige said, even you said it. When you play,
looking forward to it.
If you play in sports, in team sports, everybody gets recognized, which is okay. But when boxing is an individual sport, so when you win it, you have to acknowledge your trainers and your managers or whatever. But you, in the end, are the person that got you there because you're in the ring. We did all the work on the outside. But once that bell rings, it's up to the fighter now. I can't help you at that point. It's up to you to if you're going to succeed your goal and become world champion. And those that do, it's the greatest feeling in the world, man, because now you're on top of the world. The only bad thing about that part is I tell fighters, now you're the hunted. Before you were the hunter. But once you become world champion, now you're the hunter because everybody wants what you got. So you got to stay on top of your game to keep that belt.
I think that's the highest feeling in life, fam.
Yeah.
It's like the first time you become world champ. Like the first time.
You're
Cause
best.
like you just think about everything, like
all the work
what
you
you
put
went through, everything. So I think that's gonna be the best feeling in your life. Multiple world champs, cool. But the first belt, the first time they raise your hand and you get the belt, that's gonna be like the best feeling of your life, Probably better than having a kid, what I'm saying?
I'm going to tell you one better than that, even when you have the kid. When I won my first world title, everybody thought I was going to go out and party and stuff. What I did was, because I bought my first home in Detroit, I went home and I had this big square bathtub. And I went home with my son and we just got in the tub and took a bath and swam around in it. And we just played all night. And that was how I celebrated winning my first world title. Instead of going out partying with I said, no, I'm going to go home with my son and just relax. We had a ball.
And it's probably a great feeling. Like I can just imagine like when you become.
How old was your kid? My bad.
Yeah, at the time he was 6 when I won my.
So he knew what was going on. He's like, "Daddy's world champ."
You're the bragging rights in school, everything. Like I was just thinking like how that must feel. Like imagine when you become world champion, how your dad is gonna feel, bro. Like he's gonna be. He might run up on the ring.
He's gonna be in the ring for sure. He's gonna be in the ring.
Because like that's gonna be such a proud feeling to know that your son put in all that work and that effort and that sacrifice to accomplish his dream.
It's different too, because when I do it, it's gonna be like history. Like, bro, I'm come from Canada. Edmonton, you know what I'm saying? Like I came from nowhere, especially in boxing. Small place, you know what I mean? Small place, not much boxing scene, you know what I mean? So it was even harder for me. Like everywhere in the U.S. there's lots of boxing,
Yeah.
lots of competition, you know, lots of people to compete. So in Canada, you gotta push it an extra mile because you don't have that competition.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So
Even probably the
you gotta
exposure is
find-
different
you gotta
too.
Find it, and you know you gotta go get it. So it's gonna be different.
No, I agree. I like it's yeah, when you especially like even like coming from the Caribbean and stuff like that too, like when I make it, like just the feeling of like my people back home, how they gonna feel? Like, you know, like yo, Union Island, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, how they gonna feel when they see, you know, on the big stage. So that's something that I really respect. Like just the I always respect the grind, the journey, because I know that it's not easy. I know for anybody that's doing something great, there is so much sacrifice. There's so
You
much
gotta love
behind
the
the
grind,
scenes.
bro.
You have
You gotta
to.
love it, man.
You have to fall in love with it, and that's what the grind theory. The grind theory is all about the grind. Like so many people, they only see the success, but you don't see the behind the scenes, the times when they're sacrificing and the struggles and the obstacles they have to overcome. You run into the snow. No one see they just see, oh, okay, Paige is knocking dudes up, but you're not seeing all the work that he's putting in behind the scenes, right? Or coach, all the work that you're putting in with your other clients and even for yourself when you were a champ, right? They're not seeing all that work behind the scenes that you have to do to get to that point. And so that's really what like even this platform is about. I really want to share those journeys of what it takes to get there. And so now I just wanted to dive a little bit into the education of it. So if I wanted to get into boxing, what is the first thing that I have to even think about? Well, obviously the big balls. I can't just go in there, and I'm too old now, they say. I mean,
You're never too old, but you know you want to be able to learn the basics of boxing. If you start out, you know how to have a proper stance because you know
Yeah.
your feet are everything. Your stance is everything. That's where you build off of. And so you know you gotta have your feet properly balanced. So when you throw your punches, that you know you're on balance and you're not off balance. So your footwork is everything for you. So that would be the first thing I would tell a fighter to learn how to have your stance properly, correctly. So when you throw your punches, you're shifting your body and your weight, throwing them properly for the maximum amount of power that you can deliver for yourself. And a lot of guys they want to fight like Roy Jones. Everybody can't fight like Roy Jones. Roy Jones is a great fighter because his was natural ability. You know, most guys try to fight like Roy get knocked out. You know, so
When you start off, you gotta understand it's gonna be boring. Like if you want to actually box, like it's gonna be boring. Like an actual boxer coach who like teaches boxing, it's gonna be boring. Like when I first started boxing, like I said before I even got to the gym, I had to jab for a whole year. So then when I got to the gym, now I'm just working on my stance every day, just my stance, walking back and forth. It's not like what I thought it was gonna be. Like people think when you get to the gym, you're gonna bang, 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 hit pad, hit the leg, do all this. It's not like that. When you first start off, it's super boring. You have to get the basics, the footwork, jabbing, stepping, jabbing, moving, jabbing sideways, jabbing in a circle, right hand. Like it's a lot of technical work before you get to the fun part of boxing. So if you're coming into boxing, just know it's gonna be a slow start, and it takes time. You know what I'm saying to get to where it becomes fun. You know?
Okay. And so, so what is the process now? So okay, I'm starting boxing now. I'm learning the basics, right? I'm learning the basics now. What do I gotta do? Do I have to join? Do I need to join a gym, or do I need to join a team? Like, how do I get into having my first fight, or even to getting into amateurs? What's the process?
A local boxing gym.
So join a local boxing gym, and
If you're living in Edmonton, you're watching this, come to Southside Legion.
Southside Legion. That's the only one.
Now, if you're out in Miami watching this, I mean, you gotta hit up John, find someone that knows John.
Yes, sir.
You know, maybe he might train you.
yeah. Yeah,
See, coaching.
you gotta, maybe go to a boys' club. They don't have boys' clubs anymore in America, but you go to a boxing gym, a local boxing gym, and you get your license, your amateur boxing license, and
Okay.
hope you get a coach that's going to teach you the basics. And you start out like in novice tournaments, guys with 5 fights or less. You don't want to fight a guy with 40, 50 fights. He's going to beat your brains out. You got to have a coach that's going to understand what the game is and start you off slowly and teach you and then let you fight. Like when I was a kid, my dad told my coach, teach him for the next 6 months before he gets back in the ring. So when he gets in the ring, he knows what he's doing. So today, like I said, unfortunately, with a lot of guys today, they never fought in their lives, but everybody wants to be a trainer, but they're not true teachers of boxing. So you got to find you a guy that knows what he's doing. So when he teaches you, so when you get in the ring, you don't get your brains beat out. So you got to find a coach that understands the game and is knowledgeable. If he has knowledge, he can teach you. But if he doesn't have any knowledge, there's nothing he can teach you about boxing.
Yeah. Okay. And so like even you said you mentioned getting an amateur license. What is the process for that? Do you just pay?
It's like a book.
It's just a book. Okay.
It's like a book that you keep, and they keep your record for you every fight you had. I don't know how much it is. Hopefully it's not. It shouldn't be that much, like $25 at the most. But that's for whatever they're gonna do with the money. But it keeps with the book, it keeps your record for you, so you know what your fights are. Because I didn't really keep track of my amateur boxing until I lost my first fight. And that was like when I was like 10 years old. So I had about maybe 80, 90 fights before then. But I never kept track of how many fights I had until I lost my first fight. And my amateur record that I knew of, it was 206 wins and 9 losses. That's what it was. But I had over 300 fights because I didn't keep the first 3 years of my career. I didn't keep track of that because I never lost. When I lost my first fight is when I kept track of how many fights I had. So my first 3, I had about like 70 or 80 fights my first 3 years. But I didn't keep, like I said, my final record was 206 wins and 9 losses, but I had over 300 fights because I had more fights that I just didn't count when I first started.
Okay.
But
so
they keep track of it for you.
They keep track. Yeah.
I wish I had that many amateur fights. That's it. He had 300.
Over. Yeah.
Yeah, 300, man.
That's a lot of fights, yo. But then I expect that when you became pro, you were so comfortable because you've been in many fights.
That's just it. Because of my amateur experience, when I turned pro, I only cared about one thing. I cared about 2 things. I would always ask how much and when. I never asked who I was fighting. I didn't care who I was fighting. I always asked how much am I getting and when do I fight. The reason why it's that is I want to know how much I'm going to get paid. And number 2, how much time do I have to get ready for this fight? I stayed in shape. I'm like Paige. I always stayed in shape, especially when I was younger in my career. I always stayed in shape. So it didn't matter who I fought. Just tell me when so I'll be ready and how much I'm getting. That's my motivation.
Get that bag. Get that bag. He said, I want that big bag or else I'm going to bring these two strap goons with me and you're going to have to up that price.
I only brought them a couple times. They weren't
only a couple times. No, and so how do you know now when from amateur when it's the right time to make the step into pro? Like what advice would you give to a new boxer who's an amateur saying he's ready to go to pro now?
Well, I would tell most amateurs, don't stay too long. Don't stay amateur too long because say thing about 21, it's time. If you're a good fighter, it's time to turn pro because you don't want to be turn like 24, 25, turn pro. You can still do it, but the road's gonna be a little bit harder for you.
For you.
I have an amateur fighter. He's 21 years old, but he's gonna turn pro when he's like 24 because he has the right team though.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If you have the right team, then yeah.
Not every good amateur, not every amateur can be. You gotta look at the dynamics. There's some guys that think they could be pro because they won a national at middleweight or cruiserweight, and I know just from looking at them, they'll get their ass fucking handed.
Yeah, that's true.
As a pro.
That's true. So not all good amateurs will become good pro boxers,
So there's
some bad amateurs that actually not bad, but like they don't win in the amateurs, but they'll be good pro because their style.
Yeah.
Styles.
So styles make fights then.
Yeah, styles make fights, and you need a certain style when you go pro. You can't have an amateur style when you turn pro. Because it's two different games. Amateur and pro boxers whole two different things. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what's the difference when you get into pro? Like, what is it like? Because like for example, like in the if I relate it to the NBA, in they say in like college and high school, and then you get to the NBA, the game is way more physical. It's faster paced. Like it's these guys are like super skilled now. Like they've been like these guys are the best of the best. Is it the same kind of feeling for when you get into pro? Like is it the speed of the game? Is it more physical or is it more mental? Like what's the difference between the amateur and the pro?
John, you want to go first?
Well, no, so more rounds, sometimes smaller gloves, no headgear. You have to be mentally and physically ready because you might endure a lot of punishment if you're not. Because in amateurs, like I said, you have the headgear. You get standing 8 counts if you get hurt or dazed. Professionally, there's rarely a standing 8 count. You might get one if you really get jacked up, but like I said, there's no headgear, and you got more rounds you got to go. You got 12 rounds sometimes, and you got to be in tip-top condition to go those 12 rounds because the guy across the ring might be a nasty guy. He's coming to knock your head off, so you got to be ready for that. If you're not ready, you got problems.
Amateur and pro, like it's more power based when you turn pro.
Yeah.
Like more knockouts, more power, you know?
Yeah.
And no headgear, that's the big difference. Smaller gloves too. And more rounds. So that's it.
And
so you gotta adjust. Like amateurs more speed. It's only 3 rounds, so everything's quick. Speed, you know what I mean?
Yeah, points.
Once you turn pro, it's a different game.
It's more deliberate,
You're more thinking about the one shot that's gonna knock the guy out. 'Cause it's only one shot now,
It's more of a strategy. Okay. And in terms of your gloves, like, is there a certain requirement? Like your gloves can only be this heavy or this light or
anything from 147 on down is 8 ounce. If you're like 154 and up, it's 10 ounce gloves.
Okay. And so I guess that's kind of like a little bit of the education of it. I guess kind of like winding down here a little bit. One of the kind of really big questions that we ask on the podcast, and it's going to be directed to both of you, is what is your theory of the grind? What is your theory of the grind?
Go ahead, Paige. Let's give it first.
Theory of the grind. What's my theory? Like, what do you mean by that? Like,
so like, what's your thought process towards the grind? Like some people say the grind is a lifestyle.
Like I said, the grind, the grind's definitely a lifestyle. It's part of the movement or whatever you're doing in life. But you gotta love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta love every bit of it. Like even right now, I'm on the grind to become world champ. Like I just think what I go through is what's gonna make me become world champ. So like, I might be going. Like, it might be a rough day, you know what I'm saying? Nothing's going my way. Training's hard. My body's sore. Like, you know what I'm saying? My dad's pissed off, Like, you just got to understand, like, it's the grind. You got to, embrace these moments because, once you become world champ and once you reach your goal to wherever you're going to want to go, that's it. Life is easy after that, You're going to miss those times where you're like, oh, I remember I had to do this and that. And I remember when my dad was this. Or, like, I remember when my coach was that. Like, you know what I mean? So, when you're on the grind, just embrace the grind. Love every moment. Hardship, downships, uphills. Just love it all because that's what's going to make you reach your goal. You know what I'm saying? Everything you go through the grind, that's what's going to make you reach your goal. You know what I mean?
I love that.
That's my theory of it, So just love the grind, man.
No, I love that because it's a whole the grind is a whole process. It's not like it's one thing that I preach on the podcast with like the bigger brand that presents the Grind Theory show is called Island Grind, and the whole point of that is like getting 1% better every day. It's like you not every day you might get 10% better or 20% better, but you can always get 1% better every single day. And if you get 1% better every single day for 365 days, that's 365% better that you got. You know what I mean? So it's like always finding ways to improve irregardless, and it's a process. It doesn't always happen. It's not gonna happen overnight, bro. You're not gonna be like It's not gonna happen overnight. You have to put in the work, be consistent, and stick to the grind. So it's like.
And if it does happen overnight, man, it falls down real quick, man. I know a lot of people that got something overnight or real quick, and that doesn't last because they don't understand the grind. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand the grind and what it takes to get there. Like, what you actually have is special. They don't understand it because they got it so quick. So when they get it, they end up losing it real fast, you know what I'm saying? So that's why the grind is important, you know what I mean?
And that moment is very fleeting, I'm sure too, because when you become champ, okay, yeah, you're the champ, but then you have to get right back into the gym so you can defend your belt. It's not like, okay, now I'm the champ, now I can just chill, now, like, you know what I mean? That's not what it's gonna be like. So it's like as soon as it's right back to the grind, right? That all the work, that moment of becoming the champ is a great moment, but it's only for a moment.
And then you're back on a new grind.
And then you're back on a new grind.
It's just a new grind, you know what I mean?
It's easier to win it than keep it. That's like they say, when it's easier to make it, it's easy to not easy to make it to the NBA. It's hard to make it to the NBA, but it's really hard to stay in the NBA, to stick in the NBA. A lot of guys make it, and then 2-3 years.
Enjoy the journey because it's better than the destination.
Nation, I like that. Enjoy the journey because it's better than the destination. I like that one. I like that one.
Many times I'm just sitting in my room, I'm like, fuck, I want to be world champ. But then I'm like, you know what? I actually kind of like it right now. It's nice, you know what I mean? But 10 years down the line, it's going to be nice. You know?
It's going to be nice. I'm looking forward to that. Coach, what's your theory of the grind?
You know, it's an everyday struggle, man, with life, because here in America, people think that they come from different countries, that America's paved with gold and, you know, milk and honey. They don't realize you got to grind every day to keep that going, because there's always somebody behind you trying to stab you in the back and take what you got. So the grind stage is an everyday thing for you, man. You got to keep grinding and keep pushing to make it a better day for yourself and for your family. And, you know, even when you achieve it and you get there, you got to keep grinding to keep it. So the grind's an everyday thing for people, you know, and it's not just a saying, it's life, it's true. You got to keep grinding, man, to make things better for yourself and for your family as time goes on.
No, I love that. I got two kind of final questions for you guys. I want to know, so far in your life, I want to know maybe what are the two biggest lessons that you've learned so far in your life?
I might have to think about that, John, man.
The biggest, you know, I don't know. I guess one would be, just, you know, people. I mean, you have to, trust to a degree. You know, you have to be able to trust people to a degree, but you can't trust them fully. Some people, because it's like the grind, man. People, you know, there's people out there that say you're your friend and stab you in the back and smile in your face the whole time they're stabbing you in the back. And you know, they're not really for you because, you know, I'm not going to say America, but just in life in general has become so, people have become so greedy. Greed is such a big thing now, and people just aren't happy and content to be here and enjoy this world and with friends and family and, you know, just be happy. You know, people can't be happy for what you've achieved in life. Someone's always jealous or mad because what you've got. Well, listen, you earned that. Maybe you worked for that. You know, why can't you be happy for me because I made $1 million, $2 million, whatever, 20 million. You know, oh, he didn't, man. He's nothing. He's a bum. People, you know, it just, life is so short. Why can't we be happy for when someone makes it and to be happy for them, man? Just, you know, maybe you didn't get there, or maybe you didn't try hard enough. Maybe you didn't work hard enough. Maybe they did. Why can't we just be happy for one another? You know, life is so short, and you know, I just see it, man. You know, when people in this day and age aren't happy for each other, everyone's always envious of what you got. They don't know how you got that. Maybe you worked hard for it. Why can't they just be happy for you, man? So, you know, life is just so. Brother, I forgot your question. I'm just going on this tangent right now.
I'm ended. His question was, what's the biggest lesson you learned in life? And the biggest lesson I learned is Yeah, don't trust nobody except God. You know, put all your trust in God. You know what I'm saying? That's the most important. Like, yeah, your father, your mother. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, people are people. You know what I'm saying? They're humans. They make mistakes. So always
100%.
put your trust in God. Put everything in God, because at the end of the day, He's the one that controls this earth. You know what I'm saying? Everything around us. The only reason why we're here is because of God.
Amen.
So put your trust all in God. You know what I'm saying? When everything's bad, just remember there's always God to go back to. That's why you always gotta remember Him. So alhamdulillah for everything. You know what I'm saying?
No, and that's something that actually just reminded me. I just wanted to ask you actually was, I know that you're a Muslim, and what I wanted to know, how has God been in your in your boxing career? Like, how important is God to your
Well,
boxing career?
I converted to Islam, so I converted after high school. So I was already boxing before that. So when I converted, it just made me a stronger person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always believed in God, but I wasn't like, you know, I just had the basis. I believed in Jesus and this and that, but I didn't actually know, like, you know. But then when I found Islam, like, I read about it, understood the, you know, what it was about, understood the truth, you know, and the lessons it gives, you know what I mean, the guide, you know what I'm saying. So it just actually made me a stronger person, you know what I'm saying. And then I'm not walking around the earth blindly, like, you know what I'm saying. A lot of people just, they're going on life on how they view life, you know what I'm saying. When there's actually a guide on life and how you look at life, you know what I'm saying. So alhamdulillah, like, I got that. So now I know actually how to go on in life, you
carry
know what I
yourself,
mean. I'm
yeah.
not just walking on watery
Yeah.
basis on what I think is right from wrong, like, you know what I mean. I read Quran, I understand the lessons they give me, so that helped me a lot in life, you know what I'm saying. It helped me a lot in boxing, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it gave me strength, you know
Yeah.
what I mean. Before I wasn't praying, so I started praying. Now I'm stronger. Now I have God. Now I know I have God behind me.
Yeah.
Of course you have God behind you no matter what. But now I'm praying and stuff like that. Now I can ask Him for things. You know, now He can, you know, I can talk to Him. I have a connection, so I become a stronger person. Like, just like someone who doesn't have God, they're not going to be as strong as the person who has God behind them. You know what I'm saying? Because God gives that person strength who doesn't believe in God. God gives that person strength.
Strength every
So
day.
imagine the strength He's going to give the believer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
No, I actually really like that. I think that that's one thing. When I played football, right? My parents are actually, my dad is a pastor, right? And so when I was playing, I grew up in the church, and I had no choice. Like, when I was young, there's no choice if you could go to church or not. I had to go. And then when I got older, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna kind of do my own thing. And when I went to play football, I was wilding. Like, I was doing everything, right? I was doing everything, and I totally forgot about God. And then when I got injured, I got hit in the game. I split my kidney in half, and the tube from my kidney to my bladder got shifted. I was leaking urine in my body, and I was like, at that point, the very first thing, whenever you're down bad, you think about God. I was like, yo, please don't let me die. Don't let me die. You know. I was like, I don't let me die. You know, I'm not ready. You know, like, you know, and like, it's crazy because like, I asked God. I'm like, you know what, like, in this thing right now, I was just thinking about all the things I would have died and like nothing. You know, I would like nothing, bro. You know what I mean? And if it wasn't for God who like spared my life, if it was, like, in that moment, you know, bro, like literally, because I had plans. I had different plans, bro. I had a girl waiting for me outside. You know, I was like, I had different plans, yo. I was gonna go home, you know.
It brought you back to reality.
It brought me back to reality, and when I went home in the Caribbean and being back home with my parents and being in church and stuff like that, it really gave me like a different type of energy, because instead of just talking about God when things are bad, yo, you gotta
remember God
when things are good. You know? When things are good, you gotta remember God too, man. It's not only when, you know, you're down bad, things are struggling, you need God's help, you know. And so I just think that God is a super, super important thing. That's why we always try to bring Him up. first thing in the podcast before we do anything. But
Alhamdulillah, that's good.
yeah, no.
It always says in the Quran too to when you start off any conversation, you start off by thanking God. You know what I'm
100%,
saying?
100%.
So everything you do, you start off by thanking God.
100%, 100%. Man, you know, we're gonna get to wrapping it up here. But honestly, man, it was an absolute pleasure. Like I said, we got a future legend in the building, champ coming up. We got a living legend in the building as well, 2-time champ. You know, actually, one last question: how did you get Hollywood, and how did you get action? How? I want to know.
Hollywood, someone I grew up with, like when I was boxing, their dad used to come on with us to all the trips, you know. He used to come with us to the hotels and stuff. And then, like, he's just like, he just watched me and he'd be like, yo, Paige is just like, this guy's wild. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm in the hotel, I'm doing some dumb shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm at the event, I'm doing some dumb shit. Like, I'm just always like, you know, like, if Paige is there, like, everyone in the room is gonna know Paige is there because he's gonna do some shit, you know? So, like, that's how I got Hollywood. He's just like, yo, that kid's Hollywood, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I stuck with that name.
Yeah.
After that.
I like that. No, I like that. And Coach, I mean, I know you was about the action, but like, what's the story?
In Detroit, one day a guy came to the gym in a Kronk gym, and he said, man, he saw me boxing, and I threw a lot of punches. He said, man, you like Action Jackson, man. The movie came out like in 1986 with Carl Weathers, and so it just stuck, man. And they start calling me Action Jackson.
Action Jackson, about that action. No, man. Honestly, man. Thank you so much, Coach John, for coming on, man, giving us your time, man. It was an absolute pleasure getting a chance to know you and to talk to you more, knowing your journey and knowing about boxing and stuff too. Like, it was super dope to talk to you and to talk to my man Paige here too. You know, 2 champs in the building. 2 champs in the building, man. 2 champs in the building. So I love it, man. I love it. I just want to thank you guys. Give you this time too to shout out anything that you guys have upcoming, and where the people can find you. So any fights? I know that you're training Clarissa Shields as well. Any promo you want to do? The floor is free here for you guys now to go out.
Yeah, well, August 25th, I have a fight coming up Mexico. So
I was gonna say, is it
don't worry, August 25th, you're gonna be hearing that a lot. August 25th, you know, and
yo, I need the link. We need the link.
Come to the gym, Southside Legion. You know, you can see the champ in the gym no matter what. Even when I become world champion, you're gonna see the champ in the local gym. So come Southside Legion.
Okay.
And yeah, I have merch coming out. All that's gonna be in my link, so you know the vibes, man.
Okay.
That's it. Southside Legion.
Okay.
August 25th. That's everything.
And if the people want to follow you, they wanna check you out.
Follow my Instagram, Paige Suchit, my government. So.
The Govy. We're gonna put that down in the link. We're gonna put everything he talked about in the link. Coach,
yeah,
you got anything?
I'm not like Paige, but I'm on Instagram, John David Jackson 63, and you know that I got Paige is gonna fight in August. I got Clarissa Shields September 10th over in England. I have another kid. His name is Ali Ismailov he's from Russia. But this cat, he's 9-0 with 9 knockouts. This cat can punch. He should be the next light heavyweight champion of the world in about a year.
Yo, are you active on Instagram? Like when I be tagging you and stuff, like, do you be seeing that? I just love it because I'm like, God, I don't think John likes any of this stuff.
I have the account, but I'm not. I go look on it, but I don't really post anything. That's just I'm old school, man. I don't really do that, but
yeah, like your last post was us, and I'm pretty sure John had me to help him. He's like, yo, how do I?
Yeah, that's exactly what I would do too.
Just go like this, and then post. He's like, aye.
He's like, nice.
Ever since then, he hasn't posted because he doesn't know how.
Don't worry. When you guys link up again, you'll be the next post.
Yeah. Well, listen,
post number 2.
Appreciate you having me on your show. It's a true pleasure, man. Thank you very much.
Oh man, it's a pleasure. No, it was honestly a pleasure, man. It was a very great time talking to you guys, man. Great pleasure. Looking forward. I'm now gonna be Paige. I want to see. Yo, I need to see that. I need that link, yo. I can't get to Mexico right now, but I'm coming there soon, though. Don't worry. I'm gonna be there soon. But and Coach, man, hey, man, pleasure talking to you, man. Hopefully in the future I get a chance to meet you, man.
Yeah, hopefully we'll do that definitely. And like I said, if we ever want to do another one, like, I got some stories. I just can't tell them, I got to be careful some of the stories that I tell because, when I'll put it like this. There was a time when I was champion, when I was living kind of foul. I was champion of the world, and I was selling drugs. I was doing all kind of stupid stuff, and I didn't get my blessing because of that. So I got some stories I can tell you.
Coach, okay, we gonna come back for the stories, huh? Story time.
I'm Coach, alive, man. I was blessed. I was, God looked over me because a lot of things I did that were bad. And I never went to jail. I never went to jail.
Coach about that action Jackson, bro.
So at least I was smart.
I like that, Coach. We're gonna come back for story time, man. No, stay open. Yeah, a whole series, man. Drop a story every week, just one new story.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Hey, man, it was a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much.
Grind Theory, man.
Yes, sir.
Everyone go
Thanks,
follow, like, subscribe.
Be up with this brother, man.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
Lincoln. Be up with this brother, man. Thank you, Lincoln.
Yes, sir.
sure.
Yeah, shout out to Lincoln too, man.
All right, brother. Take care.
All right, Coach.
Peace.
See you.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Peace.